fell into a burning ring of fire. Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review, and guess what? It's Dengar Day! Yeah! Today we're going to be taking a look at the Hasbro Star Wars Black Series Dengar. And for whatever reason, Big Bad Toy Store got this in stock before the rest of the figures that's supposed to come in this wave. And you know what? I don't even care. I ordered Dengar by himself. I'm still getting a case from Dorkside Toys. Dengar. Now, Zuckuss hasn't hit the Disney store yet. He's about to. I'll be talking about that in the weekly tomorrow. But Dengar finishes off the Black Series bounty hunters from The Empire Strikes Back, and I couldn't be more damn excited about it. Looking at the package, it's your standard Black Series packaging. The black, the picture down here, the figure in the window with the red background. It stands out so nicely, looks so beautiful against the back right there. On the side, Dengar is number 74 in the series. Again, the picture, a bio for Dengar says, crude and slovenly, Dengar was nonetheless an effective bounty hunter. While some hunters prided themselves on finesse and style, Dengar preferred firepower and destruction. I have a feeling we're gonna get along just fine. Down here's the warnings, the unreadables. Probably says something like, take your heart medication before you get this figure because you're gonna get too excited. On the side we have just Dengar, and then in the big old font in the background, Dengar. Absolutely nothing. On the bottom, legalese, barcode, but who gives a shit about the packaging? I'm gonna get this bad bastard out and see how he stacks up against the rest. And there we go, all out of the package. And for a character that was on screen for maybe 5-10 seconds, this action figure is way better than it deserves to be. And I say that with a lot of love. And just look at this sculpting job. I mean, I haven't compared it side by side with movie stills or anything, but in my brain, every little piece on this figure makes up what is my mind's eye picture of Dengar. Just all the little details in the chest armor right here. The belt across here, it's a little bit plain looking because of the color, but it looks like a leather strap coming across the torso. And that's the same with this bag, and that's the same with the bags on both sides. It's just little leather texture to it to just kind of give it a little bit more oomph. Same with the holster hanging down. You have the same level of detail on the armor coming down over the legs, down to the shin, more straps coming around, and then his little slippers. He's ready for Betty by time. The armor up on the arms, just the same glove coming up over the armor. On the back, the straps coming up and around to buckles. We'll get to the backpack after articulation and all that. Butt plate, legs, and then the paint's the same way. It almost looks like somebody's just manhandled the damn thing at the factory. You can see kind of smudges here, kind of here. I can't tell if that's on purpose or if somebody actually did, okay, send them along. But it works. It works for me. It dulls it down. It goes with Dengar's, who gives a crap about what I'm wearing. I'm just going after my bounty. Nice silver here to simulate paint chipping on the armor. Down here, down here. I kind of wish there was a wash to the non-armor parts though, like this strap. The undersuit, just to give it a little bit more dirtiness. But then we get up to the head, and man, the photo reel, I can't go back to standard action figures anymore. Just the eyes look so realistic. The lip color here, the scars, they look kind of nasty. And then the wraps around the head kind of suffer from the same problem as the rest of the body. Just a little wash would have went a long way here, but they did a great job of punching in the silvers and the other colors, the actual paint apps. But one thing that's throwing me off about all the sculpting, it's so asymmetrical. And I feel like that's accurate to the movie, and it kind of works into Dengar's personality of just being a ball of chaos flying around trying to catch people. But you can see the shoulder pad is sculpted real close to the body. This one's kind of hanging down. There's a lot of gap between it and the body. This leg armor is sculpted a little bit lower than this. You can tell that this one's hanging a little bit lower. You have the oddball straps. You have the belt hanging over crooked to the side. But again, that's not me griping. That's just me pointing out. At first, I was like, there is something wrong with this. And as I'm holding it, I'm thinking, even though I can see it, I know it, I acknowledge it, I think, what is wrong with this thing? There's nothing wrong. That's how it's supposed to be. Out of the package, it did have a falling back problem, But as I've loosened the ankles and the knees, it's gotten way, way better, even with the backpack on and that extra weight back there of standing up straight. Now the shoulder pads are a separate rubber piece glued on there very, very nicely. There you go. You can see that it's a separate piece. It's just integrated into the upper arm so well that at first I thought it was part of the arm sculpt until I did this. I tried to bring the arm up here and then rotate out, and you'll see it's smashing right there. It's catching on the torso. With it being being a softer material, you're not going to damage it unless you just really, really crank on it. You got to come up, then raise the arm up, and then rotate back. Or just be very careful of pulling the arm down, making sure the shoulder armor goes up in there. Also, the lower neck, I'm not quite sure it's an actual ball joint. I think it just likes to move around, but it doesn't flop, so it's not a huge problem. I just don't want to push too hard on it, thinking I'm going to snap a pin or something. As I'm sitting here tearing at it, oh, look at that, is that an actual ball in there? But going over articulation, I think there is a ball joint up in there, but his helmet mask bandage thing comes way down far. But it is a softer material, so you can get down, you can get up. Getting it to stay there, though, is tougher than it looks. Tilt, swivel. Hinge and swivel coming out of the torso into the shoulder. You can get up that far. Swivels around. Hinge and swivel elbow, but because of the way they sculpted it, check this out. Oh, shit. What? How do they do it? It's magic. Then you get swivel. Hinge and swivel at the wrist. On the right side, it's up and down. Swivel. Left side is side to side. Ball joint in the torso, but because of how all this is sculpted, you don't get a lot of crunch. But you get pretty good arc back. A little bit of tilt, swivel. Ball coming out to the hip, and again, bigger guy, armor, he can still come all the way up right there. Back, out about that far. Swivel hidden behind the upper armor piece. This piece comes up over, look at that. Ooh, yeah. Double knee, bulky pants, armor, and he can still come all the way up. Kicking his own ass. I love that. Hinge at the ankle goes back that far. Forward, it gets stuck on the armor piece a little bit, but you can get forward a bit. And then forward facing pin for rocker. For accessories, Dengar comes with a pistol. I'm not quite sure we've seen this in the line before. I think this is a new sculpt. But nicely detailed, just cast in black, not a lot of color to it. And that either goes in his hand or it goes in this holster right here. And because of the bulb on the end of the barrel, when you push it through the hole, it kind of snaps in there. So it's not going to fall out because it's kind of locked in there. He also comes with a rifle. We have seen this several times in the line. I think the last time we saw it was with Forlom. Nice details to it, but it's not black. It's kind of a grayish, almost metallic. There's no sparkles or anything, but it's shiny, so I can think of it as metal. Dengar does have a trigger finger, but because of the sculpt right there, it's got kind of a trigger, and it gets in the way. I may cut that out just so he can get his trigger finger in there. And then he doesn't have much problem pulling off a two-handed pose with the rifle. And then we get to the backpack, which for some reason I am enamored with. Just all the details on here, it's so sharp, and then they put a lot of paint apps into this accessory, essentially. Not a lot of wash here, but the different colors, the kind of khaki green to the knapsack or blanket up here on top. You have this grill that's a metal color with some silver to bring out the detail. That green again right here, coming around here, there's a different silver. The majority of it is cast in black though. Just something to look at all over the piece. But we get to here and there is some assembly required. You have the hole in the back that's specifically fit for the pin to go one direction. That way you can't put it upside down. But you have these two straps right here on the side too. You plug the backpack in and it's a really, really tight fit. You gotta really get it in there. And that does the majority of the holding to the back. But these straps, you'll notice right there, there's a peg. And then there's a peg hole I had to hunt for on the underarm part. There's also a little slot in the front armor where you slide the strap into and then lock the peg in. Same thing for this side, just slide into the slot, peg the hole, and I've had this on through all my picture taking and I never had a problem with those straps popping out. They're just in that area where the arms hold them in and they're fairly secure because of how tight that back peg is. This is not going anywhere. And like I mentioned, it does add weight to the back and the detents in the ankles can be a little, right there, can be a pain in the ass. If you snap all the way forward with the detent and then balance him there, it's a lot easier to get him standing up. For comparison, oh, look at that. When I saw this at San Diego or at Toy Fair in the case, it looked a little big. But if you look at Empire Strikes Back, he's about the same height as Boba Fett. And here we are. Look at that. It fits right in perfectly. Except for IG-88. We need a new, bigger one of him. But if you use the Mafex Boba Fett, this is what those look like together. Honestly, getting Dengar now, it gives me a new appreciation for the Black Series Boba Fett for whatever reason. Maybe it's because they just look fantastic together. And then as always, here he is with Gus.
I don't think you can waltz right in here and take over my position on this shelf. I'm not looking to take over anybody's spot. I'm just gonna wait around, then when all the guys get a job, we'll go out and blow shit up and grab the bounty and then come back and get paid and then I can go back to bed. What in the hell did you just say?
People Honestly, at the end of the day, I cannot tell you how ecstatic I am right now. It was about this time last year that we thought, we're never going to get all the bounty hunters. Who the hell is going to make Dengar? We may get Forlom from the model kits. Zuckuss? Who knows? But here we are, a year later, and Hasbro has fulfilled that dream. I'm not trying to sound sappy. I'm just a fan, and I love action figures. So to have this group all together now, oh man, I'm speechless, really. And like I said way at the first of this, it's Dengar. He didn't have a lot of screen time, and even though the Bounty Hunters was always a huge thing because of Boba Fett, he kind of made the rest of the group cool just by association. Maybe it's Dengar's messiness, maybe it's asymmetrical look, maybe it's the backstory they've come up, the history of him so far. He's the slob. And there's just something cool about that. But Hasbro knocked this out of the park. The likeness, the photo reel, the sculpting, the articulation is probably better than a dude this size in this much armor probably has. So I couldn't be happier. And I know it's a $20 toy, and I know it could have some paint washes here and there, but god damn it, this thing is awesome on the shelf. And there ain't nothing wrong with that, at least in my eyes. I'm happier than a pig and shit. So if you like the review, comment, like, subscribe. I'll catch you on the Fwoosh after I go play with this for a while.